Nah. Yo, give me a quick sound check. My apologies. It's not my fault. My bad, y'all. So whether you're watching me on the main channel or the movie review channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Shout out to everybody that's here. All right. Happy Easter, happy Resurrection Day, whatever y'all want to call it, whatever doctrine you subscribe to. Happy Ishtar. Rabbits probably should be having coitus or colloitus, whatever they call it, right? So let's get to this. There's a lot to unpack. It's a lot to unpack. Nah, cause I'm afraid my camera. Yeah, just leave it open. I ain't gonna be loud. Huh? Yeah. All right. American Negro. Hey. I hope. How are you guys recovering from the fires? I hope everything is going well with you guys, you and your family. So, yeah. Okay, wait. While I do this, let me pull my clips. We have a lot to unpack. I mean, a lot that's Ryan Coogler, Sinners, this movie, Warner Brothers, is a lot to unpack. Because I just don't want it to be a regular movie review. I want to break this thing all the way down to the very last. It's the very last compound, to the last molecule. Let me just first say, listen. This young man is not, was he 30 years old? He's a genius. Despite me having to listen to him speak, it makes me cringe. Okay, now listen. We had the same problems, critiques of the RZA. Okay, for those that, if you're around, you know, we had the same issues with the RZA. We would call him Marble Mouth because he spoke and rap like he had marbles in his mouth. Like he had and over the years, the RZA has worked on his speech. Okay, now he doesn't talk like he used to talk. Especially in the TV and film business, it should not be far from your thought to be like, you know what, there's nothing wrong with speaking better, well, eloquent, erudite. Only urban folk truly revel in not being able to speak well. I don't understand for the life of me where that comes from. And like I said, we're going to unpack all of this based off this brilliant movie. Now, is this movie as good as Interview with a Vampire and Queen of the Damned? Yes, this movie belongs in the pantheon of the great vampire movies. Yes, this movie is that good. It's a deep movie. Okay, lots of things to unpack. I got a bunch of notes. I'm in the theater taking notes on my phone, scribble, scrabble, chicken scratch the best way that I can. But there's a lot to go over based off this. This was an excellent movie. Would I call this his best work? Is this? You know what? I would say yes, because he had full creative control, and we're gonna go over the contract that he signed with Warner Brothers, which is one of its kind, which you'll see more and more directors or producers ask for these types of contracts moving forward with the TV and film business. This is almost unheard of. So shout out to Ryan Coogler. He is a genius. He just needs to work on the speech. There's no shame in that. And let me show y'all what I'm talking about real quick. This black folk just, yes, we ain't gotta speak the white man's English. Like you guys sound like idiots. Idiots. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. Like I said, I'm gonna be here for a couple hours just going over this entire Sinners thing. This man has created a universe that I want to see more of. This man has created a whole universe I want to see more of. I would like to see a prequel of Smoke and Stack when they were working for Al Capone. how they robbed Al Capone and and the Italians, right? Because that's how they got their money. They robbed both sides and fled back down to Mississippi. But let me show y'all how ignorant we are as a people. Because you get a guy like Ryan Coogler once every generation that's able to break barriers, however he did it. But in the same token, you guys want to celebrate mediocrity. Now, this is, once again, I keep trying to tell you, these red and blue pill, worst of the worst. My beef with these guys goes back easily 10 years. I don't like them. I think they're disingenuous. You know, they talk a good game, but the actions, just ignorance. Now look at this shit. I forget which pill this is, red or blue pill. This Negro says, be like Ryan Coogler and say no to code switching. Authenticity is your superpower. Stop shrinking around pale faces and tucking your tail on some lame-ish. This is the most ignorant thing I've seen any pro-black Negro say online in a very long time. Now, we got years and decades of ignorant things from pro-blacks. This is why nobody respects pro-blacks. Okay? All right? This is the most idiotic thing, because you want to rally around a guy that's able to crack a Hollywood code, be successful, and somehow skirt the issues that he has a speech problem. Okay? So, of course, I chime in. I say what I'm gonna talk my smack. I'm gonna talk my smack. Let's get to it. So I say no crime in working on one's speech limitations or impediments, because he clearly has a slight stutter issue. Okay. And he says, and then I said, I shouldn't need Google Translator to understand what he's saying. No shade, no diss. It is what it is. So then I get the responses from, who is this Negro? Okay, yeah. Wait, is this him? Okay, here we go. Man, y'all need to get off this internet and take a step into the real world. Okay, so this guy, I go in his comments and I agree. He says, go to one of these job interviews thinking you can look, talk, and act however you want because you worried about keeping it real. Gonna be authentically unemployed. Let's continue. So, did he block me? No, okay, I say, nah, let these pro-blacks think they can Khalid Muhammad their way through life. This goofball here, this guy here, okay, Sean Crowley, we're going to make him famous. He says, why y'all always following folks that you don't agree with just to argue like some broads? Yeah, I'll be the first to admit I don't like these guys. But you know what? Somebody has to be the person that's going to go into these comments and say, y'all sound crazy. Okay, let's continue. And I say, and here you are arguing with us. I guess what they say about blacks and IQ is true. I went there. This is all based off a pro-black telling y'all stop code switching. So I want you people to go into y'all jobs tomorrow and just full on ebonics, slang, whatever the case may be. I work with kids, so let me go ahead into campus, just talking with the kids talk, right, to my fellow coworkers. Let's see how long do I last. Let's continue. Homeboy responds, just because I follow dog don't mean I gotta agree with everything he's saying. Don't get following another man on IG confused with being a follower in real life, chump. I think for myself, therefore I have my own opinion. And dude says, who the hell even uses keeping it real? Y'all sound like y'all fresh out the 90s. So then he responds to me, oh, so you either a white boy using somebody black profile or a tether, which one? This is how limited urban folks thought processes. So now the new word y'all learned over the last couple years because of Tariq Nasheed, y'all gonna run tether into the ground. So now that anybody that disagrees with you on some pro-black or urban stuff is going to be labeled a tether. You guys are idiots. But let's continue. I say, y'all learn a new word every year and run it into the ground. Sure, I'll be a white boy tether if that makes you feel better. He responds, clearly you ain't black American by how you talk. But carry on. I know y'all love being in our spaces, though you act as if you despise us. Do you understand how idiotic and just ignorant this man sounds? This is what it's what we have to deal with. I say keep it moving, son, unless you're a fan of mine. Okay? Okay? This is what we're up against. Now, let me get to why we used to make fun of the RZA, and then over time the RZA took voice acting lessons, coaching, speech classes to better becoming a more effective speaker. It's not about being fluent in the Queen's English. It's about being a better speaker and better communicator. Have you listened to some of these content creators, right? Literally become better speakers because they get out here and talk. And then they listen to themselves and say, you know what? I sound crazy. Let me learn some, words and expand my vocabulary, whatever. Stop sounding, like a typical person on the microphone. Yeah. Now, let me go back. Let me pull up some Ryan Coogler so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Once again, Ryan Coogler, certified genius. He's brilliant. He right now is easily probably the best director of his generation next to Jordan Peele. Now, someone had left a comment, hey, don't pit Jordan Peele against Ryan Coogler. And no one's doing that, but eventually comparisons will arise the further along they get in their careers. So I got Ryan Coogler 1 and I got Jordan Peele 1A. Okay. For me, Jordan Peele's best movie was Get Out. Culturally impactful. Moved the needle. Narratives were created behind it. Yes. If you want to go with Black Panther being Ryan Coogler's best work, moved the needle. Culturally impactful. Narratives around it were created. Still having a long-lasting legacy to this day, even though some of the goofiness that we saw with the Wakanda signs and stuff was a little bit too much for me. Yes, but these two will forever be intertwined. Now, if you're gonna ask me the best urban director, I'm gonna say Antoine Fuqua. I put Antoine Fuqua over Spike Lee because Antoine Fuqua's range of movies he's done, like you forgot he did The Italian Job. You forgot he did all these other movies with these white leads, and you're like, oh, that's a black man directing this. Spike Lee is Spike Lee. You know a Spike Lee movie when you see it, the long panning zoom shots, the music, whatever the case may be. I think to me, Spike Lee's best movie was Miracle at St. Anna because it told the story of those black soldiers that brought that head over. It was, it was a historically impactful movie, but most urban folk don't care for history like that. And it didn't make a lot of money, and a lot of people didn't go watch it and still don't know about how brilliant that movie is. I think that is Spike Lee's best movie. But to me, Antoine Fuqua is the best urban director. If I got to take one urban director into a Hollywood gunfight with the best of the against Christopher Nolan and Spielberg, I'm taking Antoine Fuqua. The Hughes brothers, man, stop this. I'm sorry, F. Gary. Okay, my bad. Okay, Antoine Fuqua is the best. The Hughes brothers. Okay. Okay. Antoine Fuqua, I'm taking it to a Hollywood gunfight against Nolan, Spielberg, Scorsese. Okay, I'm taking Antoine Fuqua. Okay. Always back to Coog. Antoine Fuqua's, real quick. I don't want to get off topic. We're going to get back to Ryan Coogler. Antoine, I don't think y'all understand Antoine Fuqua's his, this man has done movies y'all done. He did Training Day. What is there to talk about? Conversation's over. But let's look at it together. Okay, this is the man that gave y'all Training Day. Tears of the Sun. Tears of the Sun. A beautiful movie. Brilliant. That's a deep movie. The scene when I forget the actor's name. He was in Oz. When they cut off her breast, man. And he stabbed the dude in the chest. You know what I mean? Come on. That's a this is a Tears of the Sun. Phenomenal movie. Bruce Willis. You know what I'm saying? So let's go through it real quick. This is all the movies he did. The Replacement Killers. All you Chow Yun Fat and Danny Trejo fans. Right? Training Day, Tears of the Sun, King Arthur, Shooter, Mark Wahlberg. You didn't even realize he even did these movies. Right? The Equalizer, Southpaw with Jake Gyllenhaal, The White Boxer. That was a good boxing movie. The Magnificent Seven, the reboot with Denzel, Chris Pratt. Right? Bullet Train. I like Bullet Train. I don't know why I didn't do the numbers it should have done. I like Bullet Train. Right? I'm taking this guy here into a Hollywood director's gun battle against Scorsese, Spielberg, and Nolan. I'm taking Antoine Fuqua. And he's doing the Michael Jackson biopic. Okay? And he's doing the Michael Jackson biopic. I'm taking Antoine Fuqua. Now, let me get back to Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler right now is probably the best of his generation. You know? Right now, he's got the sauce. So, let me get back to the point where it's hard to listen to him. He's so brilliant. He's such a genius. If it's one glaring chink in his armor, man, get some speech work. Take some voice lessons. There's no shame in that. You'll see what I'm talking about.
And gotten started when I did. And graduated film school at 24 and made Fruitvale at 25 and made Creed and Black Panther around the time of being 30. All these things were like dominoes for me. And if I hadn't gotten that start, I never would have met Chad, whose time was so limited. And had such a profound effect on my life. So I'll leave y'all with this. All the aspiring filmmakers, actors, journalists, critics, all of y'all that aspire to communicate with film language through your work, through your art.
Now listen, I have no problems. You represent where you're from, as you should. But as time goes on and you get a little older, you should change. You should change. Certain aspects of you should change. And like I said, this man's not even, if he's barely 30 years old, when he's 40, I should not expect him to speak like this. I'm sorry. This man, when he's in his 40s, I should be able to hear tings of a dialect. But I should not expect to hear him saying Nurmshin at the age of 40. No, sir. We are always striving, improving, growing, ascending. Okay? At some point, you leave the Ebonics behind. At some point, you leave that part of your culture behind as you ascend. But let's continue. Yes, evolution. Always. Exactly. We remember how bad the RZA used to sound. We used to clown the RZA. He doesn't speak like that anymore. Let's continue.
No time like the present. Get going. Make that movie. Hit that audition. Criticize. Criticize whatever you like to criticize. Break it down for the folks who need to break down. Go. Don't wait. Do. Go stand in a place where you feel uncomfortable until you're there long enough that it is. Thank you.
Okay, now this is probably the best I've heard him speak. Someone said I'm nitpicking. Here's here's my issue with your statement. You're in Hollywood. Act like I'm sorry, but you're in Hollywood. Y'all act like this is the first time you've heard this man speak. So when they did the Fruitvale Station documentary, nobody said nothing. And I'm like, you know what? He's 25. He's young. He'll grow out of it eventually. Here we are 5 years later. I'm gonna need you to work on that. Even though he's not an actor, right? He's not in front of the camera. I need him to work out that chink in his armor. Now let's get to, once again, I'm here to celebrate his genius. This man's brilliant. Right now, he's the best urban filmmaker out here in his generation, easily. So now let's get to let's show how deeply immersed he is in filmmaking.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Ryan Coogler. In anticipation of the release of our newest film, Sinners, I just wanted to walk you guys through a little bit of information on how we made the film, as it might provide some context for what tickets you guys choose to buy once they go on sale.
Once again, give me a better argument. Why would I worry about a Jew? They don't even speak like that. Please stop. Please stop trying to troll me. Just stop. Don't come here to try to troll me. I'm trying to have an intellectual conversation about this brilliant movie by this brilliant filmmaker. Please do not come in here and try to derail my conversation with nonsense about them people and how they speak. Because I've come across a bunch of them. They don't speak like the way you expect them to. There's a fly in my soup. Hutzpah. They don't speak like Jackie Mason makes his jokes. You don't hear them talk like Jackie Mason. Well, humana, and I went down the block and there's a fly in my soup. Hutzpah. They don't shut up. Shut up, please. Respectfully, shut up. Now let's get back to it.
Excited to announce that Sinners was captured on film.
How do y'all have issue with me? American Negro works in Hollywood. I've been there. It's okay to have a ting of dialect here and there, but I don't need you to come off sounding like you fresh off the block. No, sir. Yes, learn to speak well. Speak better, as we all should. We love tearing each other down. I'm here to celebrate this man's accomplishments, and you're taking it as me tearing him down. Okay, well, enjoy the show. Enjoy me giving my critique. Let's continue.
That's a format that I fell in love with when I was in film school. So I brought a few film strips along here. This is Super 8 film, which was used for like home videos and has a real beautiful aesthetic. Those little holes on the sides, those are called.
Now you can tell this young man is really into his craft, and I love it. He's a certified genius. He's brilliant. Get my likes up, since you want to come in here and complain about what I'm saying. Get my likes up. Do that. Let's continue.
Perforations or perfs abbreviated. This is a piece of Super 16 film right here. This is a type of film that's very close to my heart. This is what we shot Fruitvale Station on, and it's crazy because this is the same material, just a little bit wider. And when a capture film gets wider, same as digital photography, what happens is you get a little bit more resolution, and you get a shallower depth of field, meaning less of the image is in focus at any particular time. This right here is 35mm film. This was the format for the majority of the industry history. A lot of masterpieces shot on this format. A lot of films that are close to my heart.
Nolan is a big fan of 35mm. But let's continue. Let's continue with this education.
And it's making a big comeback. Like this past film year, Nora was shot on film. Films like The Brutalist was shot on film. You got some filmmakers that always use the format. So Sinners, we shot on the big boy format entirely. This is what we call large format in motion picture photography. This is 65mm. Crazy enough, the same material as this Super 8 right here, but just wider. So obviously, even more resolution, even shallower depth of field.
I love hearing people speak on their craft, their passion. You feel it. Like, this is what he was born to do. Clearly. I love it. I'm inspired by it. But by the time this man is 40, I should not hear him I should not be like, you know what I'm saying? No. We leave that that part of us behind. You understand? I don't care about you. Keep the Oakland accent. Fine. Keep your accent, y'all. But he does have a slight stutter if you let him talk long enough. But I'm not here to knock this man down. If you think you come in here and think I'm trying to tear this man, you're an idiot, respectfully. I can give my critique and be respectful about it. Let's go.
And these perforations have a particular meaning because we shot the film using 2 different camera systems. One proprietary to Panavision is called Ultra Panavision 70, used on films like Ben-Hur and most recently The Hateful Eight. But another format we use is IMAX film cameras. Those cameras spin the film in a horizontal fashion, and they spin it using 15 perfs per frame. I'll show you guys what that looks like. So here we have a shot from the opening of our film centers. This is the same shot shown captured on IMAX film format, just 15 perforations per frame, spun through horizontally. And this is that same image as it would look if it was captured on Ultra Panavision. 5 perforations per frame, with the film being sent through and exposed vertically. Whenever we shoot a scene, unless it's with the intention of being slow motion, we're shooting at 24 frames per second. So whether it's through a camera or through a projector, each one of these frames are moving through 24 frames per second. So about these frames, all right? Each time it's exposed on one of our formats, the Ultra Panavision 70mm format, okay? It's exposed with these 5 perforations, and it's exposed at an aspect ratio, which is basically the size of the rectangle that you're watching a movie on. It's exposed at a 2.76 to 1 aspect ratio. This is one of the widest formats you'll see a film projected on.
He's brilliant. I love it. I love it. I love hearing Nolan talk about his movie making process. Spielberg, I put this young man in 20, 30 years. He should be right there with him. Right now, this man is the best urban filmmaker of his generation. Right now, I got him ahead of Jordan Peele. Let's continue.
Very rare to see a film projected in this format. The other format that we shot on was the IMAX film 15 perf format. And once you expose the image on that, you get a ratio of 1:43 to 1. So the film was shot with 2 different aspect ratios. And this is the first time ever that a film has been released combining these 2. So it was a pretty complicated process to shoot. We had a lot of fun. But when it comes down to the release, there's a lot of options for you guys. We'll talk about that, okay? So when you guys go to buy your tickets, depending on where you live, it's gonna be a lot of options available to you, all right? There's 1 aspect ratio, that Ultra Panavision 276 ratio. That's gonna be the most widely available format to see the film the whole time in that ratio without the aspect ratios changing at all. If you live close to an IMAX theater and you choose to buy an IMAX ticket, you might have a 190 IMAX available to you, which for certain portions of the film, the aspect ratio will expand.
Okay, now here's my only issue with that. My only issue with that is some movies, the scaling doesn't look right in an IMAX format unless it's shot specifically for IMAX. That's the only problem I have with this. I've seen this in Dolby and XD, fine. This in IMAX is gonna look weird. Okay. That's why certain movies, when it's shot specifically for IMAX, it's like, holy cow. And then you watch on a regular screen, it's like, wait, something's off. I can't put it into words, but you know what I'm saying? This is the only issue I have with this, is when you do the scaling conversion from Dolby XD to IMAX to something else. It's just, it's off a bit, but I can't put it into words, but I know when I see it. But let's continue.
And if you're especially lucky, you might live close to an IMAX 1:43 to 1 ratio theater, where you'll get the full impact of every image, how we intended to see it. So let's talk a little bit about how films are shown. So today, 2025, the vast majority of theaters are using DCPs. That's a digital cinema package. It's a digital format of projection to maintain quality control. And it's basically a really, really expensive hard drive that has a file for the image and a file for the sound. We did an incredible sound mix. My composer Ludwig Göransson did a fantastic score on the movie. It plays like a concert.
That is Ludwig Göransson. Ludwig Göransson, the guy that did The Mandalorian, the guy that did the Batman soundtrack. That, I think he's Swedish. I talked about him before. Right now, the best um music score. Right now, Ludwig Göransson will wipe the floor with anybody when it comes to scoring and composing. Listen, Ludwig Göransson, by the time he's done, will be mentioned in the same breath as Hans Zimmer, Danny Elfman, John Williams. Ludwig is that. He's just brilliant. He's just brilliant. And when you listen to when you watch this movie and you listen to all the blues music being played, that's Ludwig. He did that. Ludwig did that. But let's continue.
So definitely seek out the best audio format that you can find too. We got them all from 5.1 to 7.1 to Atmos, Dolby Atmos, and all the IMAX's formats as well. And this, the reason I fell in love with theaters was because, I came up, my parents was working class in Oakland, and it was the most affordable way for us to go out and have a good time and have an experience. I still believe in that communal experience of, going to the movies. This version right here, we worked especially hard on to make sure it tells a story, to make sure all of the story is there for you guys. If you want to splurge a little bit more, we got these specialty formats available for you, and we worked with Warner Brothers and our team to get a lot of formats out there. It's a bunch of different ways you can watch this movie. I'm gonna highlight a couple of them here. The movie's gonna be available in 4DX. Okay, that's a particular format where the seats move around. You might get splashed with water. Our movie's a horror movie, so you might get splashed with a different type of liquid, maybe red. Not real, of course. But 4DX, it's gonna be really cool for audiences to check out.
Okay, this movie is way better than a 7.5, bro. This movie is way better than a 7.5. That's a very, very low number. This movie is easily an 8.5 or better. It's that good. But once again, opinions. Everybody, is can have their opinions. But I think that you're doing this movie a disservice, giving it such a low number. This movie's an 8.5 easily. Let's go.
That'll again be available in that 276 format, the Ultra Panavision 276 format. We got ICE, or immersive cinema experience. This, for select sections of the film, you'll have images on the sides of you in these kind of 5 side panels. Okay, really exciting way, really immersive way to watch a movie. Definitely would recommend that. Screen X is another one that we're available on. So Screen X is a format where you have these massive screens on the side of you, that for certain portions of the film, the film really opens up and surrounds you. Another awesome format. And then down here, I want to highlight Dolby Cinema. So the same folks that make Dolby Atmos, they also are doing a Dolby Vision screen, which is a HDR format, which is high dynamic range. Awesome format. Whenever you think about high dynamic range, just think about whiter whites, brighter whites, and darker, deeper blacks. Our film's many things. It's also a horror movie, so those blacks could be really cool. And Dolby Cinema, and it was all captured on film. The film is known for having, just incredible dynamic range. And then we come to the specialty for this movie. This film was done in partnership with IMAX, and it's an awesome way to see the film. Definitely one of the intended ways to see the film for us when we were setting up every shot.
Once again, I celebrate this young man. He's younger than me, but brilliant. And I know it's a generic term, but he's brilliant. Like I said, as you get older, you find things, kind of work on yourself, polish, still rough around some edges, and you work on those things. But let's continue. This man's brilliant.
If you look close to an IMAX digital screen, you'll have 2 aspect ratios available to you. You'll have obviously the 276 Ultra Panavision format for select sections of the film, sections of emotional intensity, musical intensity, or horror intensity. We chose to film those sequences with a bigger aspect ratio, and the film will pop out and expand for those moments. It'll be a really, really immersive way to watch the movie. A select few will also get to experience it 1:3:1 digital projection. This is everything. This is the full McGilla of what we shot. Beautiful way to watch the movie. You're getting a whole lot more of the image, but this immersive capacity that this format has, I just can't speak highly enough. Chris Nolan, a filmmaker I look up to, has really mastered that format in terms of the cinematic experience. And we were after trying to give audiences a similar vibe with this one. So definitely recommend that. In the audio that's available to you guys with IMAX Digital.
So if you go to the movie, there's these underlying vocals that you hear, like you think someone's whispering, right? So that when Delta Slim tells the story of what happened to his buddy Rice, you can hear the sound effects as it's playing out. So he's telling the story while they're riding in the car. And like I said, I'll go over the movie review, and you hear the laughing, and then when he talks about the part when the Klan got to him, they stole his money, they set him up, and you can hear the guy like languishing, and he's in pain, he's being, and they say as they lynched him, you can hear somebody getting choked out. Like you can hear these little underlying whispers if you're in a good theater with a good sound system. If you're in a crappy theater with a crappy sound system, you're probably not going to hear those underlying tracks that go with the story. So when they do their flashbacks and tell their backstories, you hear the audio to accompany the story being told. You understand? Or when they're in the juke joint and you hear the vampires calling out, you hear just little whispers here and there. It's like, what am I? Is that someone next to me? Right? So he does that. These layered underlining audio clips that go with what's being told on screen. Brilliant. Let's go.
0.0, you have 12.0. Obviously 12 is more speakers, bigger sound, but 5.0 is fantastic as well. So my favorite ways to watch a movie. Now, trying to get emotional talking about this, but this brings us to something very special that we doing, very rare. This is the IMAX Film 15 Perf projection. We were fortunate enough to work with our post-production partners and get some film prints out there to the world, which is just an incredible way to experience the movie. It's the way that I came up experiencing movies combined with this really innovative technology that IMAX has developed. And this is a IMAX Film 15 Perf projection, okay? Now, we talked about those perforations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, 15 perf image being spun through the projector horizontally. Only 10 locations worldwide are gonna have this. We're gonna have it at Lincoln Square 13, New York, City Walk Stadium 19, Los Angeles, Irvine Spectrum, Los Angeles, Metreon 16, San Francisco, close to my hometown, Indiana State Museum, Indianapolis, Arizona Mills in Phoenix, Auto Nation in Fort Lauderdale, Webb Chapel in Dallas, Colossus.
Okay, you guys are serious? Listen, don't listen. Anybody give this movie anything less than an 8, don't listen to him. Listen, I'm telling y'all right now, you guys are entitled to your opinions. Anybody coming in this chat talking about it's less than an 8 out of 10, don't listen to them. Seriously, don't listen to them. This is gonna go down as it's gonna be, when you talk about vampire movies, this will be mentioned amongst them all. Twilight, Interview with a Vampire, From Dusk Till Dawn, John Carpenter's Bats. Just don't listen to these people, respectfully. You come in here talking about it's less than 8 out of 10. Shut up. I don't know what movie you watched. Or maybe half of it went over your head. But let's continue.
In Toronto and BFI in London, where we have our UK premiere. Really, really excited about this, man. If you guys can afford it, if y'all care, definitely check it out in this format. Means a lot. Last but not least, the rarest format that you can find the film in. This is gonna be 70mm film, 5 perf projection. So we talked about those perforations. The entire film will be in 2.76:1. This is very rarefied.
Hey, all my audio visual people, you know what happens when you get to converting stuff to different formats, it doesn't always pop like it should. Okay, so just keep that in mind when they do audio conversion. Y'all, come on, y'all. We convert our MP4 files, MP3 files, H.265, H.264. When we convert them shits into different aspect ratios, different formats, it sometimes looks a little wonky. It's like, what happened here? Okay. I don't think this will look good in IMAX. It would look off. Once again, XD, Dolby XD, I think is perfect because it's not a big movie. You know what I'm saying? You know, it doesn't have these wide sweeping shots. You know, whatever. I'm just, this is my opinion. But let's continue.
To get a film out in this format, it's an incredible experience to watch a film like this, to have that projector running behind you.
Yes. Listen, yeah, Queen of the Damned. Listen, when you talk vampire movies, you're gonna have to talk about Sinners. Yes, the universe he's built in this. I hope they greenlight a sequel. It all depends if y'all go to this movie to go see it. Now, I have a problem with Warner Brothers. Like, I'm boycotting Warner Brothers. This is a Warner Brothers film, mainly DC, but Warner Brothers is broke. Okay, this movie should have had twice the marketing budget. It didn't. And plus, I have suspicions that Warner Brothers really doesn't want this movie to succeed and make a whole lot of money for 2 reasons. Okay, but let's wrap this up. And I'll get into my theories as to why.
It's incredible technicians that have specialized hands and knowledge that are making this happen. We worked with Warner Brothers, worked with Photo Kim to get this out to 5 theaters that are limited in the U.S. The Vista Theater in Los Angeles, the Alamo, Brooklyn, New York, the Village East Cinemas, New York, the Grand Lake Theater in Oakland, which is where I watched some of my first movies. My parents means the world. And the Britannia Theater in New Orleans, where we shot the film. The film was set in Mississippi, but we shot it in New Orleans, and we actually used this theater to screen some of our dailies. So it means a lot for us to be coming back with the movie. Again, we made Sinners for the theatrical experience. We wanted you guys to have all these different options, and I hope this was helpful. Thank you.
Okay, masterful breakdown. Now, I have a problem. I think this is me speaking. I don't think they want this movie to do well. Now, this comes from Jeff Snyder. If you don't know who Jeff Snyder is, it's okay. But this was very, very telling. This is very, very telling. Warner Brothers cannot afford to have flops this year with his movies. Okay? Warner Brothers is so in debt. Okay? This is why they're putting all their eggs in that James Gunn basket, which is not going to work for them. Right? So they're pulling budgets from other movies to give to Superman for its last media push. Sinners should have had another $50 million for marketing for this movie. So Sinners is only in 3,300 screens across the U.S. Okay, the Amateur is at 3,400. Are you going to go see The Amateur? Do you even know what The Amateur is about? It's Rami Malek. Do you know who Rami Malek is? No, you do not. Are you going to go see the Amateur? No, you. Do you know if it? Did you? Were you even aware it's out? No, you don't. No, you don't. Okay. This is very telling. Now let's see where it's at on Box Office Mojo. Oh, that's cold. That's cold. Yeah, that's exactly why Nolan left Warner Brothers, and they gave him a $10 million check for Tenet, for them to like say, hey, we're sorry. And he's like, I'm not coming back to y'all. They gave him $10 million, and he took the money and said, I'm not coming back. That's why he's over at Universal right now, killing it. First home run out the park was Oppenheimer. Now he's doing the Odyssey, killing it. Warner Brothers is done. Now I see Martina. Most urban folk didn't watch Mr. Robot. Most people didn't go watch the Freddie Mercury biopic. So we got to kind of temper our expectations down. Martina, here's what we have to do. Unfortunately, we're talking about urban folk. You have to lower expectations. I hate to say it. You have to lower expectations, especially when it comes to TV, film, and Hollywood. Okay? You have to kind of come down a couple levels to talk to them, to deal with them. I hate to say this, but that's what the reality is. Nobody watched Mr. Robot. Okay? The average urban person does not know who Rami Malek is. They just don't. And I don't expect them to. Okay? Now, no, it will never collapse. Just like the music business will never collapse. Right? Remember, Napster was going to be the end of the music business. That didn't happen. And you know, people were just like, streaming is going to be the end of Hollywood. No. Hollywood, these are institutions. If they own the outlets, the media outlets, or if all the media outlets have partnerships with this institution, how can it fail? How can the music business fail if Universal has relationships with Spotify, Apple Music? You understand? How can it fail when they're in cahoots with everybody? Okay? Now, let's get to Box Office Mojo. And its first, and I want to see its first week projections for Sinners. Once again, you know, urban folk, it's 50-50 if they come out and support. And then people complain when urban folk don't want to make content for urban folk because you don't come out and support. This movie right now is sitting at, once again, this is its first weekend. Worldwide, it's sitting at 26 million. I don't think this movie makes $400 million. You want a sequel? Go see this movie. You want to see what happens to Stack? We're wearing the Biggie Smalls Versace sweater at the end with him and his girlfriend Maisie or Mary, right? You want to see what happens to Stack moving forward? Yeah, go see this movie so you can get the sequel. This movie's not going to make a lot of money off the back. These are not good projections. What are they talking about? $40 to $50 million? $45 million. That's not very good. That's not very good. Okay. This movie should have had hit at least 50, 55. You know? So that tells me, is Michael B. Jordan the leading man that people think he is? This tells me, does Michael B. Jordan have the capability to put butts in seats? Does he sell tickets? Okay. I don't call this is not a win. I don't think this is a win. I don't think this is a win, y'all. 46 million. Among all Easter weekend openings, it ranks 9th. I don't. This needs to be better, man. The numbers need to be better. I'm not happy with $45 million. I don't like this. Right, Minecraft's in its third week. Right, it's the third week out. Here's the Amateur. Amateur's at 3,400 theaters. None of y'all knew this movie was what this movie's about. None of you guys are gonna go see this movie. Right, it's in 3,400 theaters. Sinners is at 3,308 theaters. Let's look at the budget. Let's look up the budget. And I'm gonna get to my second reasoning as to why I don't think Warner Brothers wants this movie to do well overall. Sinners. $90 million. $90 million. It's already, so you gotta figure 90 times 2.5, because 2.5 is the average percentage that we add in for marketing. Okay, 90 times 2.5. This movie would need to make $225 million worldwide for this to be a win. Okay? For this to be a win, it needs to make $225 million worldwide. I don't think this movie is going to, based off this. So if it's 45 million its first week out, you're looking at a 50% drop second week. So 45 to another 20 million in the second week puts it at 65 million. This thing needs to make $225 million, people. It needs to make $225 million. I don't think this movie hits that. That's why I said 400 million would be like awesome for this movie to do so. But I don't think this is going to happen. Yeah. 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 Exactly. Exactly. That's not how this works. These movies have a 45-day window. You have 45 days to make all the money you can in the theaters before it goes to streaming. It used to be a 90-day window. Before streaming, it was 90 days. After streaming, they fought to get it back to 45 days. Do y'all remember how they were doing day and dates? We're like 2 years removed from they would release a movie on the day and put it on streaming at home the same day it's in the theaters. We just fought to get that shit back to a 30-day, from 30 days to 45 days. What are y'all talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Now people are like, well, it hits streaming in 45 days. I'll wait. Why go see this when you can watch this in 45 days on streaming with your surround sound, with your sound bar? I get the same immersive experience. Why? There's no sense of urgency to go see these movies. You know it's coming in 45 days. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? Yeah, little to no marketing. Now, here's the second part why I think that Warner Brothers wants this movie to fail. Secretly. This man signed a crazy contract. This man signed a crazy ass contract, damn near unheard of. They gonna stop this shit right now. Trust and believe. Where's it at? Let me get to it. Okay. It's from Vulture. Let's see. Coogler's unorthodox deal, but also found some anonymous Hollywood types willing to call it very dangerous, as well as to say it could be the end of the studio system, which I don't. That's fear mongering. But let's get to why this is a crazy ass contract he signed. Okay, this is all he got. This is everything he got. Okay. Okay, when shopping the Michael B. Jordan project around, had a number of requirements, and he looked to hammer out a deal for Sinners with studios. Some of these were big asks, but not outside the realm of possibility for a guy currently writing a series of major box office wins. He got final cut of the movie, which means nobody tells him what to cut out. He decides what to cut out. He gets final say-so of the cut. He gets first dollar gross, which means he gets a portion of the film's profits from the moment it opens in theaters, right? As opposed to having to wait for the back end money. Here's the crazy one. Coogler wanted ownership of the film to revert back to him after 25 years. Unheard of. Now, does it make sense why they didn't put this thing in 4,000 screens as opposed to 3,300 screens? Now does it make sense why they didn't double that marketing budget? Yeah, does it make sense now? Does my theory make sense? Does my theory make sense to y'all? This is why I hate and despise Warner Brothers. Will I go see Dune 3: The Messiah? Yes. When I should be boycotting. Should I have boycotted Sinners? Yes, I should have. It's Warner Brothers. Do you understand why I want DC to fail so badly? Do you understand why Christopher Nolan left Warner Brothers? Is the picture coming in clear? Now, does my theory sound crazy now? Right? Okay. I've never heard. I can't recall any director getting the rights back after 25 years. This is unheard of. But this is no different than Cash Money, No Limit, getting 80-20 deals. They're the first ones to do it. Now all of a sudden they don't do that anymore. You're not getting no 80-20 deal out of no record label. You'd be lucky to get a joint venture. Whenever urban folk come up with some creative ways to kind of jerk the system reacts and responds with overwhelming force. Never again. We will never let you people do this to us again. We will never give you a deal this good again, ever. You mean to tell me out of Spike Lee couldn't have got this deal? Antoine Fuqua couldn't have gotten this deal? F. Gary Gray couldn't have gotten this deal? All your favorite urban directors couldn't have. No one sniffs a deal like this. Are you kidding me? And their resume far surpasses Ryan Coogler's, if you ask me. Okay? I despise Warner Brothers. I loathe Warner Brothers. They drive out the best creators. James Wan left Warner Brothers. Y'all know James Wan. He gave you the Conjuring series. He went to Universal. Universal's about to kill everybody with the horror genre. They got James Wan back over there. They got Blumhouse, A24. They about to murder with this horror rebirth genre. About to murder it. That used to be Warner Brothers, bread and butter. Put out these cheap, little horror movies that make a ton of money, cost nothing to make. Warner Brothers has driven out everybody. Everybody. Let's see. Who had anything close to this? Mel Gibson, but he self-financed his movie, Passion of the Christ. That's why he was able to get something close to this. But he put up his own money. Martin Scorsese with Megalopolis. He put up his own money. Once again, widely panned. But I think in 20 years, they're going to come back to Megalopolis and be like, oh my God, this movie is brilliant. I don't know what happened. Megalopolis, Martin Scorsese with Adam Driver. It's a brilliant, deeply layered movie that went over everybody's heads. I guarantee in 20 years, they're going to circle back and be like, oh my God, this movie is a masterpiece. Yeah, it was then as it is now. Okay. Tarantino will get ownership of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in a couple of decades. Okay. Coogler will get this back before Tarantino gets back his own movie. And you're going to sit here and tell me Coogler has a better resume or more stock for a deal like this than Tarantino? Shout out to Ryan Coogler for pulling this off. Shout out to him. Listen, urban folk will find a way. But what happens is when the first 2 to 3 folk get in, they shut the door for everybody else. They're like, we can't have all y'all doing this. No. That's doing too much. Okay? Coogler scored a rights reversion on what technically his 5th movie. His 5th movie, he got this deal. Oh, that's unheard of. And this is how bad it is for Warner Brothers. One, that's as much of a reflection of how much Warner Brothers has been floundering in recent years as Coogler's own rising star status. So you got a dying studio versus a hotshot filmmaker. Yeah, Warner Brothers has no choice. That's how bad it is at Warner Brothers. If this is Warner Brothers 2010, this is not movie is not even getting made. It's not even getting made. How dare you come into our offices and ask for such a crazy ass deal? Okay. Look at it. The studio is still smarting from losing Christopher Nolan over this. Right? So Pam Abdi and Michael DeLuca were apparently willing to go to extreme lengths to make Coogler happy on Sinners. Coogler has said that he considers the ownership a deal a one-off, rooted at least in part in Sinners, focused on themes of black artists' ownership of their own culture. Okay. What happens if some up-and-comer asks for a Ryan Coogler deal? Right? Okay. This is why I believe this movie is being gutted from within. Okay. I don't know what more could I say? Yeah, these listen. This is not a win. I'm sorry. these numbers, that's not a win. Once again, the magic number is 225 million worldwide. I can't wait to see the international properties numbers. I can't wait I know they're going to be in the tank. I know they are, especially in Asia. This movie needs to make $225 million for y'all to have any chance of ever getting a sequel to this. Okay. All right. Now let's get to the actual breakdown of the movie itself. Once again, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Let's see. Let me check something real quick. Okay. I got notes. Oh, listen. Last. Yeah. Like, not gonna happen. No. I want Warner Brothers to fail. They deserve to fail. Okay. They might be banking on Coogler's youth. He's got a whole lot of runway. Sir or ma'am? Listen, this movie's only. Come, let me. I don't want to call you. I don't want to disrespect you, sir. This movie has only made. Well, they're projecting 45 million for the weekend, worldwide. Okay, they're projecting $45 million worldwide. It's for its first weekend. Is that a win to you? That's a win to you? I mean, hey, I'm not here to make y'all see it my way. I'm putting out the information. I'll let you guys come to your own conclusions. But the tea leaves pretty much tell us the same story. Like, this is not gonna win. This is not gonna win. This movie needs to make $225 million worldwide. And in its first week, it only cracks $45 million. Respectfully, y'all, Superman, like, once again, no, it will not. Superman, listen, Warner Brothers has angered so many of its fans. Y'all gonna see how fractured the fandom is. Okay, there's not gonna be enough Marvel fans to come from Marvel to watch Superman Legacies, Superman, whatever. Sorry. No. And it's competing against Fantastic Four. I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot and Jurassic World Rebirth. Are you serious right now? Okay. Hey, I look forward to those first week projections for Superman. I'm gonna be on here talking my smack. Now let's get to this. Nobody wants an authority movie. What, bruh? Nobody wants an authority movie. Nobody. James Gunn makes movies for purists. Normies don't want an authority movie. Normies didn't ask for a Supergirl movie. Okay. Hey, you know what? God bless you, man. It's all good. Hey, you believe the gun pedal verse is gonna save Warner Brothers? Okay, God bless you, man. I'll see you July 11th when we get those first week projections. I'll be here to talk my smack. All right. You know why? Because horror movies are making a ton of money and they're cheap to make. And everybody's doing reboots. Yeah. Why not? Yeah. Matter of fact, let's look at the budget for that. Nope, that's not it. Summer 2025. This movie cost $20 million to make. That's $3 million more than the original from 20 years ago. Why would you not redo this? It costs you nothing, and you're gonna make a ton of money on the back end. Do you see how they think now? Do you understand how they're thinking now? Right? Okay. See? You have not named one movie that makes me want to run to the theater yet. This is bad. Okay, you know what? I got you, Free Zone. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go through the entire year slate of all the movies coming out. And let's see what makes you want to come out and see anything. Okay. Did anybody go see Denethor's Pantera? No, you did not. Even though they got greenlit for a third movie. I just saw them maybe a month or two ago on streaming. It was super mid. I would not go see this shit again in the movies. I'm so glad I saved my money and didn't go see this in the theaters. I'd have been pissed. Let's see what other movies we got. I didn't go see Wolfman. I seen it on streaming. I should have. It was decent, right? Let's see. Okay, this is all January, so we don't care about January. This is February. We don't care about February. We don't care about March. Novocaine was dope. I went to go see Novocaine in the that was dope. Novocaine, dope movie. Let's see. Okay, Snow White, failure. Magazine Dreams. It literally was in the theater for 1 week. In the theaters for 1 week. I think it made $800,000. Yeah, it made about $800,000. Working Man did good numbers. I don't care for Jason Statham. He's the same person in every movie. I'm cool. I missed Death of a Unicorn. I wanted to go see that. I'll just have to catch it on streaming. Okay, now we're up to, this is April. We're up to April. Minecraft is gonna maybe come close to $1 billion. Let's see, G20 with Viola Davis playing in an action movie. Who the hell wants to see old ass Viola Davis as an action star in G20? I'm surprised y'all still watch The Equalizer with Queen Latifah. Shame on y'all. Let's continue. The Drop is doing good numbers. This is The Amateur. This is one we talked about that y'all didn't know it was out, that you didn't go see. Look, it's got Lawrence Fishburne. You didn't even know that, did you? Okay. This movie is killing it right now. Warfare done made his money back and then some. Excellent. One of the best war movies. Yes. Warfare. Once that grenade came through the hole in the wall, it lights up. For the first 20 minutes, it's a slow burn. But once that grenade, and you know the funny thing about this movie, because it's all told from memory. When that grenade came through the window, nobody jumped on the grenade. Okay. When the grenade came through the window, nobody jumped on the grenade. They freaked out and it's like, oh, once again, these are SEALs. These are young Navy SEALs. They're doing a reconnaissance mission. They took over somebody's house, some random family's house. They took it over to use it as sniper positions. The sniper guy is looking at everybody through a hole in the wall. Word on the street is, hey, we got American soldiers in this house. So they're all planning to take them out. That grenade comes through the window, and none of those Navy SEALs jumped on that grenade. They all freaked out like, oh my God, grenade. It goes off, and it's lights. It just action. It just boom, boom, boom. It goes. It just goes. Right? Okay. Excellent war movie. Excellent movie. Let's continue. Okay, we're up to Sinners. I'm going to go see The Accountant 2. I thoroughly enjoyed the first one. Ben Affleck is going to remind y'all why he's the best Batman ever. Him and John Bernthal, the Punisher. These two on screen with guns, I'm with it. I want to see these guys go against John Wick, okay? I want to see The Accountant and his brother go against John Wick. I think these guys will murder John Wick. I'm sorry. Ben Affleck plays the autistic brother. He's the autistic older brother. If you watch The First Accountant, phenomenal. And they explore the depths of autism. Their daddy was a military guy. He sent him over to learn how to fight and combat, and sent him out to go beat up bullies on these street fights. And at the end, the place that took him in to help hone his autistic skills, he ended up giving them a bunch of money towards the end of the movie. And the girl he grew up with, because she's nonverbal, she speaks through she's nonverbal. The girl that he grew up with in that home, he gave him a bunch of money and gave her a government computer. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, the accountant. These guys will murder John Wick. Yes, I'm going to go see The Accountant 2. I'm here for it. Until Dawn is another horror flick made for next to nothing. That's already getting good reviews. Okay, I did not go see Rosario. Rosario comes out in May. Another cheaply made horror flick that's going to make a lot of money. Okay, we are in May. I will go see Thunderbolts. I will go see this. I'm going to go see this. This is Rosario, right? About Paulo Mayambe. Yes. Okay, witchcraft, all the good stuff. Yes, cheaply made. I will go see this if I can catch it. Okay. Any movies? No. Final Destination. I will go see this. We all will go see this. Okay. What else we got? Mission Impossible. Yes. Lilo and Stitch will make $2 billion. Lilo and Stitch will make $2 billion. This thing will easily make $2 billion. Easily. Let's continue. Karate Kid Legends. Yeah. We're gonna go see this. Havoc. Yeah. Tom Hardy. Did I catch it? Is it in May? Did I miss it? Tom Hardy has a new movie coming out. Havoc. I will catch that. The Ballerina John Wick. This is in June. Okay. Predator Killer of Killers. That's on Hulu. We will be watching that on Hulu. How to Train Your Dragon will probably make $2 billion. Fairly easily. 28 years later. Yeah. We're going to go see that. For sure. Okay. Let's continue. F1, Brad Pitt and Damson Idris. Yes, F1. I'm a huge fan of F1. I will go see this. Megan 2.0. Remember that cheaply made horror flick about the killer doll? Yeah. It got a bigger budget because it's going to make more money. Yeah. Let's continue. July through September. Here we go. This will make $1 billion like the last one did. This is going to eat everybody's lunch. In July. Everybody. The Old Guard 2. I don't care about that. Superman. Right? July 11th. And then we got the Smurfs. The same weekend. This is going to hurt Superman. I don't care what y'all say. Okay? The Smurfs comes out. The Smurfs and I Know What You Did Last Summer reboot come out the next weekend. These movies are going to hurt Superman very badly. Okay? These two movies right here are going to hurt Superman very badly. That's the next weekend. And then 2 weeks later, we get Fantastic Four and Happy Gilmore 2. Are you serious right now? How much damage do you think these two movies are going to do on top of these two movies to Superman? I see people running around here talking about Superman can make a billion. Make $1 billion how? Where? How? Now, I do expect Warner Brothers to leave Superman in the theaters longer than everybody else to drag the numbers out, but it's not going to help. Okay? I'm telling you right now, 1, 2, 3, 4 movies are going to eat Superman's lunch come July. Let's continue. The Naked Gun comedy. Holy cow, that shit looks hilarious. All of us old heads that grew up on the original Drebin, right? Play what was the name? Leslie Neal. Yeah, rest in peace. Liam plays his son. Hilarious. Look at this. I didn't ask for this. Freakier Friday. I didn't ask for this, but hey, it's back. It's back, right? Weapons is getting a lot of buzz. Weapons is getting a lot of buzz. You're gonna hear a lot about this movie called Weapons, about missing children. Okay, trust me on this. All right. Let's see what else we got. Looks like we're in September. The Conjuring: Last Rites. It's the last one. We're gonna go see that. Him, Jordan Peele. Right? How far are we willing to go to be the best in your craft? Yeah. We're gonna go see that September. The Strangers Chapter 2. We're gonna go see that. October. The Rock, the Smashing Machine. He plays Mark Kerr. I remember seeing this guy growing up as a kid. Mark Kerr, like one of the early pioneers of MMA. This is The Rock's, him stepping out and testing his acting range. This movie's gonna make a lot of money. I'm hearing a lot of good things from this movie already. It's A24. A24 doesn't do anything half-assed. Let's continue. And then we got Tron Ares in October. We're going to go see that. For sure. Okay. Black Phone 2. Remember the first Black Phone? Made a lot of money. A cheap horror film. Ethan Hawke plays the kidnapper. And all the dead kids talk to the one kid on the phone. Huh? Let's continue. We got Predator Badlands in November. Okay. Okay, about that. We got the second part 2 of Wicked in November. It's going to eat everybody's lunch. Zootopia 2 is going to eat good. Remember that first Zootopia made $1 billion. Idris Elba played the police chief, the wildebeest, right? Okay. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 in December. Your kids are going to want to go see the sequel to this. Your kids made you go see the first one. Okay. Some of us not so old. We grew up with Five Nights at Freddy's. That game is kind of scary. Avatar: Fire and Ash December. We're gonna go see that. Yeah. Somebody's gonna go see SpongeBob. Okay. Somebody's gonna see Anaconda. I don't know about that. Okay, that's what we got, and that's what we got for the year, for the rest of the year. There's enough movies coming out I think will drag a lot of people out. Okay. There's a lot of good movies coming out this year. All right. Now let's get to this breakdown. Why would Cameron have to push his back? And Cameron's not pushing anything back. Why would he do that? His movies make $2 billion every time. Why would he push it back? For what? Who's gonna scare James Cameron into pushing back Avatar? Who? Wait. Let's. You asked the question. I want. I'm curious. Who is gonna make them push back Avatar? Who? What movie you see coming out? Respectfully. Wait. Respectfully, what movie do you see coming out that's gonna make them change their minds and push this back? Are you kidding me? I don't see that. I don't see that happening at all. All right. Let's get to it. Did I? Nobody 2? Do I even remember that? What was that about? I don't even remember Nobody, the first Nobody. Oh, look who's in this movie. The RZA. The RZA's in this movie. I don't even remember the first one, man. Honestly. I never seen the first one. I don't even remember that one. I try to catch everything. It is? Okay. I'm sure it is. Okay. Slipped my mind, man. I didn't even I wasn't even aware like that. All right. Let's get to it. Now, do I have to say spoiler alert? Because people are like in the comments, are you going to drop? Listen, we live in a world. Expect people to tell you what happened during their reviews. Like, that's like, grow up. All right. Let me pull my notes. Oh, wait a minute. So let's kick off. Yeah, let's kick this thing off. The Sinners thing. Let me see. What is this? Okay, one of the actresses in the movie, Haley Steinfeld, somehow found a way to use her barely mulatto ass to talk about race in this movie, which I hate when people do this, but let's go.
It sparked a lot of questions for me. It's always so fun. The research for the job is always the best part, right? One of the best parts. And a lot of times you're learning about something that, you may know a little about or nothing about. And you make discoveries about yourself through those things, but it's not about you, right? It's about something that you're learning, something else. And with this, it was my family. The research was my family and my family history.
This chick is like she's an octoroon. She's like a barely an octoroon. She's barely an octoroon. So she felt a connection with this character she plays. She plays Mary. I think that's the character's name, Mary. But let's continue.
And a lot of times it didn't feel like, again, research being like the best part of the job didn't feel like part of the job. It felt like these amazing conversations that, like I'd mentioned, easy to say I wish happened sooner, but I'm so grateful that they're happening now. And even after seeing the movie last night with just some family, it's like the conversations about this movie are so important. But it brought me so much closer to my mom and to my grandfather. And yeah, I mean, this role, my imagination ran wild with thoughts of what his life might have looked like growing up, what his parents' life might have looked like, and I'm just so honored to be a part of this story and of this world that, while it's wild and exciting and fun and there's jump scares that'll really get you and the music is incredible, it's so important, and this served me in a way that I didn't know I needed so bad.
Okay, that was cute. You know how these Hollywood folk, when they find out they got like an eighth of a black in them, oh my God, I'm connected to you guys, and I too have, a tragic racial history. It's so disingenuous. Okay, Sinners is a story about two twin brothers who used to work for Al Capone in Chicago. They are World War I veterans, work for Al Capone, rob Al Capone, and the Irish. Skip Chicago, come back to Clarksdale, Mississippi. Clarksdale, Mississippi, if I remember correctly, is the home of the crossroads where Robert Johnson allegedly sold his soul to the devil to become basically a progenitor of blues. If you know the story of Robert Johnson, he couldn't play to save his life. One day he was walking at the crossroads, met the devil, said, hey, I want to be the greatest blues player alive. Comes back, all of a sudden this guy can play blues and is widely regarded as one of the tent poles or one of the creators of what modern day blues is. Okay? Clarksdale, Mississippi, 1932. Stack is red, smoke is blue. The problem I have with the color duality part is red and blue. I think red and blue, Crips and Bloods, or I think police, cherries and berries. I would have preferred a duality of black and white, but that's just me. So I'm nitpicking with the colors. Okay, so Stack is red. He's kind of impulsive, fiery, hot-headed. Smoke is blue, calm, methodical, logical. Yes? We have Sammy. Sammy is the son of a preacher that wants to be a blues musician. Okay. We have Mary, the mulatto. Well, no, her daddy was a mulatto. So she would be an octoroon. She is the former lover of Stack, which is Red. And she's married to a white man. We have Miss Annie. Miss Annie is the love of Smoke's life. They had a kid together that died. When he goes to see Annie, she's a practitioner, right, of the occult. And when he goes to see Annie, he goes to the little grave site, the little altar that Annie placed for their dead son Elijah. We have Delta Slim, played by Delroy Lindo. Delroy Lindo always puts his foot in whatever role he plays. He's never had a bad role, or he's never not performed at a high level. He plays Delta Slim. He is their uncle. Sammy is Stack and Smoke's little cousin. Mary's mother was the nursemaid to Smoke and Stack, so they all kind of grew up together. And then we have Cornbread. Cornbread is the big hulking fellow. And then we have Ramek. Ramek is the Irish vampire. And we have Joan and Burke, part of his clan, his vampire clan. But Burke has an interesting twist to this. Okay. Opening scene. Oh no, I don't do the opening scene. Smoke and Stack are back in town. They're getting the crew together to buy a juke joint. They go to Hogwart. He's the owner, the building owner. They buy the building from Hogwart. Hogwart comes back at the end. So they ride around town getting the crew together. There's a very interesting the dialogue between, was it Stack and Cornbread? Cornbread's a sharecropper. He's out there with his wife, and Stack's like, hey man, listen man, I got some money for you, man. He says, hey man, listen, the money, the amount of money I you can make, your wife may even let you put your pecker in her mouth. And he's like, hey man, what you talking about? That's my wife. So he's ready to fight Stack, and the wife is like, well, wait, what are you talking about? I was dying. He said, yeah, instead of that slow poke that y'all be having sex, she might let you put your pecker in her mouth. I was done, because when the wife said, hey, hear him out, I was like, ugh. So they get the crew together. They buy the joint. Smoke goes to see Annie. They reconnect. He has a mojo bag around his neck. He doesn't believe in the occult. She's like, man, listen, me praying for you. He said, prayers don't work, magic don't work. She said, listen, all them prayers I did for you every day kept you out of, you came back with 2 arms, 2 legs. You survived the World War. You survived Chicago. Obviously, my magic was working, because he got the mojo bag. He's like, well, how come it didn't work for Elijah? She's like, I don't know, right? So they reconnect. They have sex, whatever. Homegirl is she plays one of the guards in the Loki series. If you watch the Loki series on Disney Plus, she has the afro. She's the big burly bodyguard. That's old girl. Okay. Man, let me go through my notes. Okay, so the next scene, you see Ramek escaping the sunlight. He runs to this little house. He's being chased by the Choctaw Indians. Now, I couldn't confirm if the Choctaw chasing him were vampires as well, or they were just vampire hunters. Because in a very opening montage, it talks about how music is a portal. Yeah, music opens a portal between living and the dead, right? And different cultures that call it different things. There's certain people imbued with the ability with music to open these portals. Not everybody can do it. You have to be a certain person, right? So think of the Lucifer and somebody that's able to open portals through music. Yes. Okay. So Africans called it something. Irish called it something. The Indians called it something. Africans called it something. But it's all the same. Certain people are imbued with the ability to open portals through music, even though music is like the gateway. But you have to be the key master to a certain extent. Yeah. So I couldn't confirm if the I'm going to assume they were vampire hunters. So Ramek is like, hey man, listen, help. They trying to kill me. These Indians trying to kill me. He's on fire, literally smoking. His skin is smoking. So Joan opens the door. He's like, here, take what I got. He gives her gold coins. They let him in, unbeknownst to them. Her husband, Burke. The Choctaws show up, say, hey, listen, we're looking for a guy. He's in danger. Don't let him in your house, whatever. I mean, they was on his ass. They were on his ass. Okay, they leave. Joan goes to the back, discovers that Ramek has already turned Burke. When they get ready to feed, they had this crazy drool that comes out of their mouth, which is crazy. So he converts Joan and Burke to be part of his clan. Fast forward, Delta Slim is telling this story about his buddy Rice and how they were all in the band, and the clan had picked them up, made them perform for money, and they all went their separate ways. And then Rice went to pay for a ticket to a bus ticket to go somewhere. Clan caught up to him, beat him up, stole his money, lied on him, said he did something to a white woman, and they lynched him at the train station. But you can hear the audio tracks of this taking place. You hear somebody running, somebody getting strangled. You hear the music, right? So when they tell these little stories, you hear the audio clips like in the background. It sounds like somebody's whispering. You would think it's somebody's next to you. Okay. Wait. Okay, we're gonna get Ramek, Joan. Okay. They're the Asian couple that's recruited to help them. The Asian wife and then the Asian husband. And then Sammy is seeing a married woman. I forget her name. She's a married woman. Okay. Let's go through my notes. Okay. Now, the club is up and running. Everybody's having a good time, right? Sammy has the idea to leave. They go to Chicago to be a blues musician, whatever the case may be. Hold up, y'all. I'm just going through I had a lot of notes. I mean, I was really like scrambling to take notes. Like, you know how it is right on an S pen, right? Oh, okay. At the juke joint, you know, the money's coming in. Some of the plantation workers were paying with wooden nickels. So Smoke and Stack have a conversation like, Smoke's like, nah, we just want money. Stack is like, they work on the plantation. Like, their money is good. There's these wood nickels, and it has the plantation name stamped on burned into it. So to Stack, it's just as good. And Annie's like, that's all they have. Like, it's their own money, their own currency system. Smoke only wants US dollars, because going back to when Smoke went to go see Annie, she sells her mojo bags, whatever the case may be, and he was like, what is this? This ain't nothing. I got some real money for you right here. And she's like, I don't want your money got blood on it. He's like, all money got blood on it. All money got blood on it. He's like, no, not this type of money. I don't want your type of money. Give me back my regular money. Right? So there's these deeper allegory themes of freedom, power, you know, because most black folk in those times, money is used as to boost one's status, right? Okay, so we're at the juke joint. They had a discussion about the wood nickels, whatever. So Smoke kind of relents on that issue, on that point. Stack and Mary rekindle briefly what they had. He's like, why are you here? You married to a white man, go live your white life. She's like, I don't want to have to be married to a white man. And why can't you just say it? Why can't you just say, okay, I love you. So he tells her he loves her. He walks off because she's white passing. She lives her life as white passing, even though she grew up with them urban folk, right? And they're like, technically, they're like her brothers, because she grew up with, like I said, Mary's mother nursed them. Or she was like the doula that birthed them and kind of helped raise them to a certain extent. So she feels a kinship with Smoke and Stack. But even though Stack and her used to be former lovers, he went to the war. She's like, I'd have waited. I waited for you all this time. He's like, I can't give you the life that you, whatever. The best thing I can do for you is leave you alone, whatever, you know. So then Let me check the comments. Let me check y'all comments real quick. Make sure I ain't missing anything. Okay. Next comment. We're going through my notes. Okay, so the one scene when Sammy finally plays, right? Clearly he's imbued with the power. Like, he's the musical gatekeeper. He opens the gate, he's playing, and there's this sweeping shot of different musical ethnicities through music. So one scene, you have the hip hop, and then it just kind of sweeps into another genre, and then another genre, and then you have Asian, and then you have some twerking, and then you have some Africans, and then you have some Asian culture musically, right? It's this long sweeping shot of all the different rooms in the juke joint, and when these Sammy's playing, all these different musical elements are imbued, and they kind of make themselves known throughout the place, which attracts Malik, the Irish vampire, right? Because people kept saying, "Oh, the music in this movie attracts vampires." That's always been a vampire trope. Go watch Queen of the Damned. She woke out of her slumber. She was encased in stone. What woke her up out of her slumber? Dude playing the rock music. Oh, it was the music that woke me up. So that's always been an old vampire trope. It's the music. Vampires have always been musically inclined, or just their ties to music, whatever the case. You know, interview with a vampire when Louis or Lestat's playing the piano, he's like, the music. Okay, so that's an old vampire trope. So we have all the characters established. The Irish vampires led by Malik, they'll show up and they're like, "Hey, we just want to play, we just want to hang out with you guys, want to play." They play their little Irish folk music, which is cool, but they're like, "Nah, this is a juke joint, man. We play blues and stuff like that." He's like, and the Irish vampire is like, "Oh, is it because of this? Because he's Irish? Is that why I can't get in, because of this?" Because Irish are considered the niggers of the South, right? They're potato eaters. And so Smoke's like, "Nah, you can't come in here." So they wander off down the street. Mary comes up with an idea to help Stack make more money, because she's white passing, so she can go buy the beer, the liquor, and they won't question why she's buying it, right? So somehow she ends up going down the street, and the Irish vampires are there. They play their music, they're singing their Irish songs, whatever the case may be, and they seduce, or try to attempt to seduce Mary. Mary pulls a gun on them. It's like, "Nah, y'all get away from me, I'm going back." So there's this shot of her walking away from them, and then you see Malik's, his eyes turn red, and he just jumps out off screen, off camera. And then in a split second, here comes Mary at the door, and Cornbread's like, "Where'd you go?" "I just went outside to go get some fresh air. Go ahead, let me back in." And Cornbread, the big burly guy, he lets her back in. And you've seen him in a bunch of movies as well too. The big burly guy. He was the brother in the first Transformers movie that the white girl went to go see. And the feds bust through the door, and he's like running. "Y'all ain't gonna get me. I can't get me." And he busts through the glass, and they tackle him into the pool. That's him. He's been in a lot of stuff. I think his name is Omar Miller. He's been in a lot of stuff. All right. She lets him in, and Mary wastes no time. Mary goes to track down Stack. They go to have sex in the back room. Smoke is like, "Hey, go get Stack, because we gotta count this money. We gotta do something, whatever the case may be." Oh, somebody gets a face slash. So one of the patrons has loaded dice. He cuts the face of a patron. So they went to go handle it. So Smoke says, "Hey, tell Sammy, hey, go get Stack. I need his help for this dude that literally had his $150 across his face." They stomp him out, kick the shit out of him. Slim walks in and says, "Oh, my bad, y'all having sex." You see Mary riding him, and whatever the case may be. And so he goes back to Smoke. And he's like, "Hey, I told you go get Stack." "Yeah, but he busy right now." Hey, go get Stack." "Yeah, he was in 8 Mile. Yeah. So by the time Slim goes back, now you see Mary just on his neck, just biting the shit, biting the hell out of Stack, out of Stack. And he's like, "Oh my God!" And then Mary stands up. She's like, "Oh, this ain't what you see. It is not what you see." Smoke breaks in. Slim, Annie, Smoke all break in to see what what Mary done did. Smoke guns her down, right? And she runs back, stands back up. And she's like, we're gonna kill every last one of y'all. And she runs out the door. And so they close the door behind them while Stack is dying from his bite wound. And then, you know, Smoke has a little Jesus coming to Jesus moment. And he kind of figures out what they're dealing with, which is vampires. She said, listen, you shot her, and she got up like it was nothing, right? So they come up with a plan. They send everybody home. Say, hey, party's over. They send everybody home, not knowing the vampires are out there waiting, right? So off camera, they all get turned. Off camera, you don't see it. And like I said, when they're ready to bite, they get this crazy looking drool that comes out of their mouths, whatever. So it's just so in the juke joint by themselves. They send all the patrons home. You got Stack's dead body, Smoke, Sammy, Mary ran out, so she's turned. She runs out. Miss Annie, Delta Slim, Cornbread, but Cornbread goes off to go use the bathroom, and then he hears people calling his name, Cornbread, right? So Cornbread gets turned. We'll come back to that scene, and then you have the Asian wife. Because her husband went to go get the car. He went outside to go get the car for them to leave. She's like, hey, listen, they asked us for our help. We didn't ask for all this crazy nonsense. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna go get the car, and then we're gonna leave. He left with everybody else to go get the car. He gets turned. Right? And who's this last person? I forget. Okay. So it's like literally 7 people left in the juke joint. And he's like, listen, you got to get your brother's body out of here. He's you know, although Stack wakes up, he's knocking on the door. He stabs a knife through the door, almost stabbing Sammy. And Smoke is like, "Oh my God, yo, you alive? You all right?" He said, "Yeah. You know, I'm okay. It wasn't that bad, but let me out. They wouldn't let him out. He busts out. He busts the door down. I think Miss Annie throws pickled garlic juice on him. It's the garlic, and he burns his face and he runs off outside. Cornbread somehow comes out. Yeah, Cornbread comes out walking, just, oh, hey. And he's like, what the hell happened to you? Because Smoke is covered in blood, and they're all at the door. He's like, hey, man, just go ahead and let me in, man. And, you know, let me go ahead and, you know, since everything happened. He said, well, yeah, what happened? Okay, Stack dead, and we sent everybody home. And where the hell were you? I was using the bathroom. Then I had to go take a shit. He's like, well, you know, go ahead and let me back in. And they're like, and Annie's like, And everybody's like, hey, man, you've been coming in and out all day. Why would you need permission to come inside? Because Annie kind of broke down the whole vampire thing from what she understood from when she was little, when she learned about them. And they well, okay, you a big burly man. What's stopping you from walking in here past us? And he's like, well, you know, Stack is my ride home, and Stack gave me this job, and it wouldn't be kind of me to just walk up in here, you know, pushing past y'all. It'd be rude. And like, nah, man, you can just walk up in here if you want to. And he's like, well, just pay me my money for my services. And he's like, be careful. So Smoke, like, goes to give him the money and puts it in Cornbread's hand. Cornbread snatches him out the door from him, tries to bite his arm, and then Smoke shoots him in the face. And then Cornbread runs off with the rest of the vampires. So now they understand what they're dealing with. So everybody understands, hey, okay, no one can get in. Don't let them in. They have to be invited in, whatever the case may be. So they end up getting garlic. They all eat a piece of garlic, cloven garlic, to make sure no one's turned. They make steaks out of wood spikes. They load up the shotguns, whatever guns they got. So then outside, the one shot or the one scene when Ramek, he's the leader of this new vampire clan. They're all singing and dancing to an Irish song, right? It's called Rob Popenny, Pen Pony, or How to Eat Popenny. I don't know the fucking name of the song. The same song they played when they were at the door trying to get in the first time. I forget the name of the song. It's an old Irish song. I didn't have a penny. I couldn't eat them if I had a penny. It's a Popenny. I don't know. It's a crazy Popenny song. It's an Irish song. I remember. I've heard the song before, right? Let me see. With Nichols. Nope, that's not it. Okay, nope. Okay, what is this? The rooms portals open. Okay. Wait. I think this is it. What's the name of that song, y'all? What is the name of that song? Pick Robin Clean. Pick poor Robin clean. Yeah, pick poor Robin clean. Pick poor Robin clean. I would have picked poor Robin clean. I would have ate him something, but I had picked poor Robin clean. So that was the song they were singing, and they're just doing like this bonfire, and they're all just dancing and singing, and all their eyes are lit up red. He's in the middle of the circle, and music is very integral part of this entire movie. Okay, so they had their little moment. And then, so come back to inside. The Asian wife is having a hard time processing this because her husband comes to the door. It's like, hey, babe, I got the car ready. Let's go. And everyone's like, don't go. Because, he's one of them. He's like, babe, it's not even like that, babe. I got the car ready. Come on. We ready to go? We got to go pick up our daughter. And then, yeah, I already covered. Yeah, she was a married woman. I mean, the scene where so the scene when she's in the juke joint with him, that whatever, he eats her out. Yeah, she's a married woman and she's sleeping with the preacher's son. And he's like, I just want to taste you. So, I guess that was a big moment for urban folk because only urban people care about shit like that. Unfortunately, sorry. Okay. So then the husband is like trying to woo her out. And they're like, no, don't do it. But she's like, well, my daughter. So then Ramek shows up at the door. He's like, look. He speaks to her in Chinese. Because he says, oh, I know how you like to be licked. So when they get bitten, the biter absorbs all the memories and knowledge of the person that they bit. Okay, and vice versa. And they all can feel Ramek's pain. Because they're all psychically bonded to each other. So there's a scene when Ramek is hurt by silver and they all feel the pain. Okay, so they're at the door and he speaks to her in Chinese, how she likes to be licked. And hey, I promise I won't bite you hard in Chinese. And she just freaks out. And then the husband threatens to go get the daughter. And then they leave. And then she's like, you know what? Damn all this. Come on, bring y'all asses in. Because she's ready. She's like, why are we standing here? Wait until dawn. We need to go out there and go pick them off before they go into town and turn more people, which kind of makes sense, but it's if not done right, it'll go bad. So she's like, no, we need to go out there and go get them. She's like, nah. She gets so upset. She's like, know what? Come on in. Cause she's making a Molotov cocktail while she's doing it. She says, come in. So she invites them in. They hear the invite and they all rush in. And all of a sudden, it went from like 7 people in the juke joint to now you got like 20 people fighting off. I'm like, where all these other people come from? Because if you know what I'm saying, listen, there's a bunch of shots where you see it's only 6 or 7 of them in the juke joint. And then when all the vampires rush in, now all of a sudden you have a whole bunch of people trying to fight off the vampires. I'm like, wait. There's like at least 9 or 10 people extra that shouldn't be in this shot. So So they all rush in. Everybody's fighting off vampires. The Asian lady end up staking. She gets set on fire, but she's so hell bent on killing a vampire. She stakes a vampire, and they're both on fire. And then she's basically burned down to the bones while staking this vampire. It was a crazy scene. So they're all fighting them off. They all kind of get separated. They all kind of go upstairs. Is this the black version? You know what? This is if From Dusk Till Dawn, if it was serious. From Dusk Till Dawn is campy to me, right? This is From Dusk Till Dawn taken seriously. That's the best comparison I can give you, right? It's serious. So that was her husband? That was her husband? Okay, cool. All right. You sure that was her husband? I must have missed that. I didn't think it was him. I thought it was somebody, another vampire. Okay, fair enough. So everybody gets separated in the juke joint, fighting off the vampires. The place catches on fire. They go upstairs. A few of them get killed off, not a whole lot. So that was her husband. Okay, man, I blinked on that one because it was so much. The cut shots were just, it was a lot of cut shots. Okay, so then the only ones that left are at the point it's Stack alive so far, Delta Slim so far, Miss Annie. Oh no, I take that back. Okay, so during the whole and when they all and during the melee, Miss Annie gets bit. But before that, she tells him, "Hey, if I get bit, I need you to stake me, just in case." He's like, "No, ain't nothing gonna happen to you. I'm gonna take care of you. You gonna be all right." So she ends up getting bit, and he kills the vampire that bites her. And then she's like, she puts a stake there. She's like, "Go ahead and stake me." So he stakes her, right? Delta Slim ends up cutting his arm and sacrificing himself to give Smoke and Sammy enough time to get away. The married woman that Sammy was messing with, she gets turned. It happens in pretty quick succession. In that one particular scene, when they all rush in, pretty much it all goes left for everybody. So then the only people are left at this point. So then Smoke and Stack face off. So they're fighting. Somehow Sammy gets outside. He gets tracked down by Malik, the Irish vampire, right? And so he's kind of taunting him and torturing him and stuff like that. And you see the rest of the vampires around, or circling around them. So Malik tells Sammy, "Hey, I want you. I will give up everybody for you because you have the ability to open portals." He says, "There's people I want to see." So he has people on the other side that he wants to see. Now, from what I've gathered on the backstory of Malik, they say Malik is about 600 years old. And then they say that Malik was turned by an Englishman, because the English and the Irish don't like each other. They have a serious beef, right? So it's implied that Ramek was turned by an Englishman. He's about 600 years old, and he just kind of goes from place to place, just turning and creating his own covens, whatever the case may be. And then it's implied that he messed with the Choctaw, and they were on his ass. Hence, going back to the first part of the scene. That's all alluded to in the backstory of Ramek. Okay, so now while Smoke and Stack face off, they're fighting each other, which is kind of comical because now vampires are pretty much superhuman. Strength, speed, endurance, heightened senses, and the fact that Smoke was able to kind of keep up with Stack and even kind of beat Stack in the fight is like, come on now. He's a juiced up, he's a superhuman vampire. There's no fight. There's no fight. All right. I missed a part. So when Cornbread tries to Cornbread gets shot in the face, the guy that got cut in the face, he passed out, and they thought he was dead. And like, "Oh, who's that? Who turned him?" No, and they're like, "We don't know, but get his body outside." He wakes up. He's like, "Hey man, let me back in." And they're like, "We ain't letting you back in. You could be a vampire." So they didn't know he wasn't turned. So he pretty much killed an innocent man. Cornbread tackles him, and then Cornbread's biting the guy, and that's when the husband shows up, the Asian husband. He's like, "Hey babe, I'm ready to go." And she's like, he's killing him." He's like, that ain't nothing. So I forgot that part of the scene. Okay, my bad. Getting back towards the end. Okay, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. That's not how the vampire trope works. That is bad writing. Sorry. You're nerfing the power of the vampire to make the fight more even. That's not how this works. Okay? You're talking about a meta-human. Vampires are meta-humans. Okay, you cannot keep up with a vampire. In the fight, a foot race, nothing. Okay? So I found it lazy writing that Stack was able to keep up with, or Smoke was able to keep up with Stack and get the best of him. I'm like, nah, that's just you ain't never seen that in no vampire movie. You've never seen nobody in a vampire movie go hand in hand with a vampire and beat a vampire unless they're a vampire themselves or Don Peele. Okay? So that was lazy writing to me. So Smoke gets the better of Stack. He's on top of Stack. He's about to stake Stack. We go back outside with Ramek and Sammy. Sammy smashes Ramek's head with the guitar that Smoke and Stack father gave them. That's why he loves the guitar so much, because Smoke and Stack daddy gave him that guitar. That was a daddy guitar. So the silver plate that's on the steel guitar, it hits him in the head, and all the vampires feel the pain because they're affected by silver. So he's like, you hurt me, boy, blah 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 blah, but I'm still gonna kill you. Then as he goes to kill Sammy, he gets staked in the chest from the back by Smoke. Okay, well, what happened here? So we think that Stack has been staked. Not the case. So he stakes Malik. The sun comes up. All the vampires die off. They're set on fire. Even the Mary lady. She didn't, she survived the encounter, the onslaught, the breach. So she's on fire. And Ramek is the last one to kind of die off. So then this fiery whirlwind tornado fireball, he dies, whatever. So then Stack and Sammy go back to the juke joint, get the guns that in their trunk that they initially brought with them, they left in the car, because there's a reference to the trunk. He's like, oh, you didn't bring the trunk? He's like, man, I forgot. So Smoke tells Sammy to go back to the church. The opening scene, you see Sammy already cut up and clawed and bloodied going to his daddy's church. So that's what happened. They caught up to that first part of the scene. So Sammy goes to his daddy's church, holding the neck of the guitar, the broken guitar. And his daddy's like, hey, I need you to renounce this, sing for the Lord, and renounce this blues. Let the guitar go, let the guitar go, let the guitar go. He never does. So then come to find out that Stack and Smoke made a deal with Stack. He said, I won't stake you. You got to agree to stay away from Sammy. Okay. So now, how we get back to Hogwarts and why Bert was important. So Hogwarts is a KKK Grand Master. He sold the building to the brothers on purpose for the KKK to come back and shoot him and kill him and burn the building down. Right? So then, who tells him that though? I forget how they found out. Oh, Ramek. Ramek tells Smoke what happened. Bert and Joan are married. Bert is Hogwarts' nephew. So the guy's house that Ramek ran to away from the Indians was the nephew of the Grand Dragon, or the Grand Master of the KKK, because you saw a hoodie, a white hood on the bed when he's trying to look around and see who's in the house. So there's a connection. So Hogwarts comes back. Smoke lays out a trap, picks off a couple from a sniper position, and then he goes in and just shoots everybody down, cuts everybody down, whatever the case may be. And he saves the Grand Dragon for last. He's like, okay, give me a cigarette. He's like, go to hell, you nigger. He gives him a cigarette anyway. That's the South, right? And then Smoke gets shot in the side. But see, when they show his injury, it's in and out. Okay? That's why I thought he survived. So when he lifts up his shirt to see that he's been shot, you see the entry wound and the exit wound. So I'm like, okay, well, shit. The bullet went in and out. You can survive that. All you gotta do is kind of plug the wound, cauterize the wound, and get to a hospital in time, right? So he takes a seat. He sees Miss Annie in white, because when they cross over, everybody's in all white. She is breastfeeding their son Elijah, and he's smoking a cigarette. She's like, hey, put that cigarette down. I don't want the smoke to get on Elijah. Come hold your son. So he puts the cigarette down. He holds his son. She's looking on. So I guess that's his about to transition into the afterlife. Once again, when they show the bullet wound, it's like, okay, it went in and out. you could survive that. But you can see dead people. You don't have to be on the brink of death to see dead people. But I get it. So he ends up shooting the Grand Dragon clan leader at the end. And then we jump 30 years in 60 years. We jump 60 years into the future, 1992. And Sammy becomes a great blues musician. I assume did they say Chicago? He said he wanted to go to Chicago and do the blues. I forget where they said he was at in 92. But 1992, Sammy is performing. He's an old man. He's got the 4 claw marks on the side of his face. He's an old man. He's performing. It's after hours. And the bodyguard's like, hey, boss, 2 more people want to see you. What you want to do? He said, I'll let him in. And in comes Stack and Mary. Now, this is 1992. So Stack has a high top fade with a gold Jesus piece. And he's wearing a Coogler sweater. And then Mary's got, the crazy 90s haircut, and she's got the pants and the halter top, whatever, the crop top, whatever. And they walk in. They walk in. They walk in, and so they kind of reminisce. He was like, and Stack he sniffs. Sammy's like, hey, you ain't got too much longer. You sure you wanna? I can make you live longer or whatever. I can fix this, and you can have a longer life and play blues music. Sammy's like, nah, I've seen too much. I'm good. I'm okay. So they reminisce. Sammy asks him, well, what happened? And Stack tells him he made a deal. I made a deal with Smoke that if he let me live, to leave you alone. To leave you alone. And then they hug. He pays him $200 for the drink, right? And then he said, hey, I don't like your new stuff. I like your older stuff. It's too electronic. You still got the old stuff in you? He's like, yeah. So he opens up his case and breaks out the steel guitar, and he plays a little riff for them, like an old school blues riff, and they're enjoying it. Stack gives him a hug, right? Gives him a hug, and then on his way out, Sammy asks him. He says, "Well, do you miss it? Or what was that day like? And he was like, the last time I saw my brother, it was a good day. It was a good day. That's the last time I saw my brother. The last time I saw sunlight or the sun." And he said, I was free. I became free. And then Sammy's like, okay. And then Mary's like, okay, see you later, little Sammy. Because that's how she's always seen him, as little Sammy. Even when they met in the juke joint, she's, because he was always a little guy tagging along. So she always referred to him as little Sammy. So they walk out. And so more credits rolled in. The last post-credit scene is a young Sammy playing a guitar in church, in his daddy's church. He's playing a song, and then he looks up, and the film cuts off. So I would assume that was his daddy. That was the preacher man, Sammy's preacher man. The way he looked up at him and stopped playing, that had, like I said, he's playing it in the church. And so now the church, there's a symbology behind the church, right? The church, at the same time it frees you, at the same time it constricts you, because the song that Sammy sung in the juke joint, he wrote it for his father, and it was about how he felt he couldn't be himself while in the church, and he said he had to lie to his daddy because they say the truth hurts, but I didn't want to lie to my daddy, whatever the case may be. So the church, even though he ran to the church for freedom, because vampires and churches don't get along, it's the same church that kept him confined. It wouldn't allow him to be who he truly wanted to be. So it's a blessing and a curse with the church. As long as you adhere to the church's rules, you're good to go. But the moment you go against the church's the symbology or the symbolism of the church, or what the church represents, if you step outside that box, now you're a problem. So that was that allegorical conflict between the church and Sammy wanting to be his own person, who he wanted him to be, right? Remember, what movie was that? Was it not Women of Brewster Place? The Color Purple. Remember when she goes back to her daddy church? You know, cause she kind of renounced her ways to a certain extent, and she goes back to church. It's like a cheat code. Like, okay, I'm messing up in life. Let me go back to the church, because I can always go back to the church. It's a safe haven. I can recharge my batteries, get right, and then go back out in the world and mess up again. So it's kind of like that, you know. So once again, great movie. The vampire thing doesn't kick in for about 30 minutes. 30 minutes. So you think it's one thing, then it switches up to something totally different. So this is a very, very good vampire movie. Very, very good. I wouldn't consider a complete vampire. I mean, because the whole thing, it's not about vampires per se. The vampires just represent just a part of society that black folks have to go through. So what Ramek was offering the blacks was like freedom, fellowship, acceptance, everything they couldn't get in white man society. The vampire society was like, well, no, there's no judgment here. Everybody's equal, right? Everybody's equal. You can do whatever you want here. There's no judgment, no one to tell you no. So what he was offering would have been pretty appealing to a lot of people in 1930s Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? And then with the musical aspect of it, the cultural appropriation, Ramek wanting the soul of Sammy to kind of appropriate the blues music to fit whatever narrative that Ramek wanted to do. So more of that culture vulture, you know, cultural appropriation with the blues music, because now even still we don't own the blues like that. You know, the majority of your audience that goes to the blues concerts and blues fests are white people. And then even going back, and it was a nice little shot of Kingfish. If you those who didn't know who Kingfish is, a little fat kid with the flying V playing guitar next to Sammy in the blues joint, right? So yeah, the Vampire Society was offering black folks what they were trying to get and had to fight so hard for in the white man's world, just acceptance. And that's what the vampires were offering. So, okay. Did I miss anything? What? Oh my God, George, come on, man. Put down the Henny, put down the cognac, my brethren. This is a great movie, man. See, this is why we can't get sequels to black movies, because George coming here talking about, I didn't like it. When he started river dancing, I was ready to walk out. Oh, come on. That's all part of it. It's all part of it. Oh my goodness. Uh-oh. White boy nerds say this was some of Coogler's best, and he shouldn't do any more superhero movies. They say the world building in this was second to none. Hey, I'm invested into this. I want to see more of this. I want to, in my perfect world, I would like a gangster mob prequel featuring Smoke and Stack, how they survived the First World War, moved to Chicago, you know what I'm saying, and dealt with the Capone mob, the Irish mob, the Italian mob. I would love to see a movie exploring that aspect of it. And then I would love to see a sequel with the adventures of Stack and Mary. So there's enough world building here that I'm interested. I want to see more of this. And you know what? I'm not mad if they say, hey, leave the Black Panther shit alone. I would. What we don't want to do is limit and put him in a box. So just like the same grace we give Nolan, Spielberg, Scorsese, we don't ever put them in a box, right? It's weird how with urban folk, when they do something good, it's like, okay, this is what you do. You stick to that, right? Jordan Peele is another example. Like, everyone keeps expecting another Get Out. It's like, no, don't pigeonhole them. Like, let them express their range. And you know what? I'm not mad, Dr. Doug, if mainstream society says, you know what? Do that. Do more of this. You know, do we need another Black Panther from you? Probably not. I'm not mad at that. I know it's weird to say, but definitely the world building in this movie, I'm interested in. I would love to see a modern take on the adventures of Stack the Vampire from 1932 to 1992 and all of his adventures, and then moving forward with that. I would love to see that, but I definitely want to see a mob inspired, you know, The whole we love those mob movies when the black mobsters take on the Irish mobsters. We love that shit. We love seeing us, whoop some Irish ass in these mob movies. I would love to see the twins do that, smoke and stack, robbing and stealing and gunning their way out of Chicago. I would love to see that. So that's just me. That's just me. Let me get caught up on you guys' comments. You tell me this damn movie is a daggone vampire movie. I get to say it's a phenomenal. I'm late to the party. And so, hey, go see it. I would say don't call it a vampire movie. I think it's more than that. I just think the vampires are a symbol of something else that black folk have to contend with. They're just another example of an obstacle or a hurdle. All right, the vampires either represent freedom or salvation for black people in 1930s Mississippi. They're either your blessing or your curse. So for me to call it a vampire movie, to me, no. It's just the vampires are another symbol, another hurdle, another obstacle for black folk to overcome. That's just me. You said craptacular ending. Oh, I liked when Stacks walked in and him and Mary. I was like, as soon as the bodyguard said, "Hey, there's two more that want to see you," I instantly knew, like, that's Stack. That's Stack. And he walked in with the Coogee sweater with the high top fade. Come on, with the Jesus piece. Come on, quit playing, y'all. Quit playing. I was like, oh shit, yeah. And then they had the eye shine. I was like, oh, I'm with this. And I liked the interaction between, you know what I'm saying? Because they took care of Sammy. Smoking Stack helped him grow up. Like, why would that bond be broken? Even after everything they went through that night, this takes place in one night, literally one night. After everything they went through prior, and that one night when everybody's lives kind of diverge into different pathways, why would that bond be broken? I love seeing that shit. And he gave him a hug, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh shit, okay, cool. Yeah, they could have easily wrecked though. Why? I love that. I love that part of it. I was happy with that. I took it a Stack holding back. I would hope so, man, because ain't no way you going toe to toe with a vampire. Not on no hand to hand shit. Okay, what about a vampire lord feeding off blood, the same blood they were twins? How would that work? I don't know. I don't look at twins in that. I mean, I get twins are connected, but not to that level. Like, people still. Let me reread that to make sure I understand what you wrote. What about a vampire lord feeding off blood, the same blood they were twins? How would that work? No, they're still two separate human beings. That's how I take it. So out of all the vampire lore we've watched and read over the years, they're still two distinct human beings. They may share a bunch of similar traits and characteristics, but they're still two separate human beings. That's how I look at it. That's just me. Okay. Okay. One thing I didn't understand, the fact that Malik had abilities like flying up in the air and stuff, but he didn't use them against enough in the final fight. Yeah, you know what? That's bad writing. That's called Rocky Road to Dublin was the song. Okay. I just knew the song. I never knew the name of the. Okay, Rocky Road to Dublin. Okay, appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. I'm learning. Is it a masterpiece? It's damn good. Maybe time will tell if it's a masterpiece, but it was a damn good movie for me. It was a damn good movie. Yeah, that sounds about right. Dusk Till Dawn, Salem's Lot, Puss in Boots, and Idlewild. Yeah, especially with the I personally didn't care for all of the juke performances. When the married woman got out there perform, that should have been cut. Like another 5 minutes off. I didn't need to see all that. I didn't care for all of the juke performances. Delta Slim had his little performance. And then Homegirl, and then Sammy. I was like, I could have cut off 4 minutes off each performance, kind of make the pacing just a tad bit better. Once again, I'm just critiquing. This is, who am I to speak on this? Okay, who am I to speak on this? All right. He said eating fur burgers. Listen, urban folk, that's all they care about, man. Come on, I hate to say this, man, but that's like, oh my god, it's like, all right, I got super chats, my bad. Ill Magic, thank you for the 5 in the chat. When they saw the grenade, they was like, shit, hey. That was the funniest part of the movie, because you see all the guys in the movies, grenade. Well, Act of Valor, they were played by Navy SEALs. There's a scene when the grenade is thrown and the Master Chief, he jumps on it, and you see his body kind of raise up from the impact. They jumped on fictionally they jumped on the grenade, but in that movie, nobody jumped on the grenade. And once again, this is all from their memories, right? Nobody wrote a book. None of those guys wrote a book. They all told their stories from memories. And when that grenade came through, grenade, and they're all looking for places to get away from the grenade. Okay, but warfare kicked ass. Listen, the show of force, when they're calling in commands like, hey, can we get a show of force? And the jet does a low flyby at like a high rate of speed. Oh my god, the concussion, you can feel the concussion blast from that shit. Ill Magic, thank you again for the 5. I'm more interested in Kerry Washington's movie Shadow Force than Superman. Kerry Washington, I didn't even know she had a movie coming out, bro. That's what's up, though. That's what's up. Cream, thank you for the oh shit, okay, damn, oh wow, I'm humble, thank you for the 50. Oh wow, hey, yeah, hey, shit, okay, thank you, holy cow, I'm happy but frightened at the same time. It's like you gave me $50. What do you want me to do? It's like a private dancer movement. Like someone gives you a whole bunch of money. It's like, oh, you want me to do something for that, do you? Don't you? You want me to do something for that money? It's like, okay. What do you want me to do? No, but thank you. I appreciate that. Monk Luigi, thank you for the 20, Brett. I appreciate that. Just showing support. Hey, thank you all. All of you guys. Whether you watch, like it up, thumbs down, whatever, donate, all that stuff is hugely appreciated. So that was pretty much it. Let me know if I missed anything from this movie. You got the esoteric message in the movie, but I wanted to see Smoke and Stack put in work. See, I agree. I would have liked to see a backstory or some flashback scenes of why they left Chicago. I would have been cool with that. But now I'm just like, okay, I need to see more of the twins pre Mississippi before they came back. I need to see them in Chicago, So I hope it happens. But listen, y'all, it ain't gonna happen with these types of numbers. Listen, it's not going to happen with numbers like this. I'm sorry. Okay, I don't want to be that guy, but it's not going to happen with these type of numbers. So next week we'll come back and visit and see where it's at. But if this movie doesn't make $225 million worldwide, you're not getting a sequel. You're not getting a sequel. I don't think Coogler should make Blade because you know what? That's it. After watching this, I was like, they should have given Coogler Blade. Like, give me a John Wick, the Raid version of a Blade movie. Holy shit! Listen, it could be the dumbest script. I don't even care. Give me half the Raid, half John Wick with vampires. I'm sold. I don't care what the plot is. Holy cow. Negro spiritual movie. I mean, yeah. Better or worse, 28 Days Later. Let me get back to you on that after I watch 28 Years Later. I didn't get the Avengers like experience the critics were talking about. You know what? Normally I don't trust critics when they fawn over a movie, because when this last week when the embargo lifted, that's all they kept talking about. Oh my God, 100% Rotten Tomatoes. The critics love it. I'm like, it's a black movie. Critics love it. It's a problem. I automatically become dismissive of critics. But when the audience matched the critics' reception, I was like, okay, maybe there's something here I need to go see. I was gonna go see it anyway, but now I'm like, okay, let me see what they saw. And this was a very, very good. This was a great movie. Great movie. Right? Surprisingly for me, my favorite moments was Stack, Sammy, and Slim dialogue moments in the first half, and the one track and musical shot in the scene when they're in the car. Is that when they're in the car? I think that's when in their car, right? I could be wrong. Okay. Okay. How did Stack and the married woman live? And if the vampire boss died, wouldn't all the people he turned? Nope. Because remember when Annie was telling how she learned about vampires, she said even if you kill the head, because that's what Smoke wanted to do. Smoke said, "Hey, well let's go kill the head vampire, and we can free everybody." And she's like, "Nope. They're still their own. It doesn't work that way." Because remember when they're telling the story of how he escaped, you saw Mary running away. Remember, for a brief moment, during the third act, when they have Annie kind of retelling how the vampire thing works. You see Mary running away off to the woods. Remember, you didn't see Stack and Mary in that last final shot when everybody set on fire. When the sun came up and all the vampires are on fire, you saw the sweeping shot of all the vampires being set on fire. You saw the married woman, but you never saw Mary. You never saw Stack. You saw the backside of Mary run into the woods for a brief second. You know what I'm saying? Was it Stack that turned Annie Smoke girl, then Smoke staked her through the heart? Nope. See, thank you. Even right. You don't have to be a vampirologist to understand that there's no human on the planet that can go toe to toe with a vampire. That scene was just. It would have worked had Stack been thrashing Sammy around, and then somehow Stack got arrogant and somehow Smoke got a drop on him. I don't know, but there was no way those two should have been head up. No. That was weak. That was weak for me. That was weak for me. Yeah, I'm not gonna call it a masterpiece. Time will tell, but this was a great movie. The Negro spiritual aspect is just a part of Black American aesthetic. Yes, it's the same as Black classical music. There's always old Black blues, Negro spiritual mixed with the classical. I agree. Okay, I'm going. She's like, I need to wash up. He's like, I just want to taste shit. I'm gone. Hey, thank you once again. I can't thank you guys enough, but that did kind of make me feel like, oh, she's gonna want me to do something for the money. You know how people get nervous when money gets thrown around. It's like, oh, what do you want me to do? Hey, I wouldn't mind it being a limited series on streaming. I don't have to see this in the movies. I just want them to continue the story. So I hope that is an option for him. Native Vampire Hunters is an easy TV series. I agree. I wish. See, now I want to see how Ramick came across the Choctaws. I want to see how the Choctaws dealt with the vampires and how they learned their lessons with I see this. There's so much to explore here. Like, so we got the Choctaw angle. You can go through Ramick's backstory. You know what I'm saying? And you got the twins in Chicago post World War I, and then you got Stack. the next from 1932 to 1992. Like, there's so many different angles you can go with this world building. You know, yeah. I'm not sure about that. I wouldn't be surprised. You know. Yeah. Hey, listen. I'm telling you right now. It could be the dumbest plot, but you give me a raid version of a Blade with a mixture of John Wick. Sold, man. It could be the dumbest plot ever. Yo, he kidnapped my cat, so I had to go kill everybody. I understand. I have cats. I get it. Right? You have a John Wick franchise based off a puppy, y'all. You have a 5-movie John Wick series based off killing a man's puppy, steal a man's cat. I'm here for it. Okay? I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Favorite character. Stack was my favorite because his scenes with the Sammy reminds me of a relationship with me and my past uncle. Oh, okay. Nobody really resonated with me like that. I just enjoy them. But no character's like, I need to see more of that character per se. Now, okay, I'll say this. Stack, now that he's a vampire. So Stack post vampire, yeah, I'm with that. Do you think calling the movie Sinners will hurt the number? That's a very good point. I didn't even think about that, bruh. That's a very good point. That's a very good question. Sinners. Well, you know what? I don't think Christians are going to come out and see this. It's based off the sin. That's a very, very good point. Wow. Maybe that is maybe that's a screw up on the marketing. That's a very, very good point. Because, you know, Christians are just off the top offended. Sinners. Why would I go see a movie about sinners? That's a very good point. Man, you might have cracked the code on that one, bruh. You might have cracked the code on that one. Uh-oh. Well, I know KKK members saw all those burned up bodies at the juke joint at the end. The vampire, you know, they normally turn into ash and dust, right? From everything we've always seen, they pretty much turn into ash and dust. Yeah. Mahershala said it's still ongoing. I don't know, man. I don't think we're gonna get a Blade movie at this point. I don't think we're gonna get a Blade movie at this point. Cat kicker. Yeah, Anacar. You stole Mr. Paws. Hey. Hey, I've taken screenwriting courses and just never sat down to do it, man. I need to put it on my bucket list one day, you know. Jordan did a good job playing twins with different personalities. One being more serious than one being more funny. Yeah, Stack, the whole Stack in Red, hot-tempered, fiery, impulsive, right? Irrational decisions. Yeah. And Smoke is blue, calm, pacifist, you know, very strategic. Yeah. See, you release a movie called Sinners on Resurrection Day. Damn. Yeah, shit. Yeah. See, that's why I'm gonna keep going back. Even though he had full creative control, I think it wouldn't have hurt if someone from the marketing department said, "Hey, can we change this movie title? Is going to be offensive." Like, when you work these campaigns, you're looking at 6 months. Like, so when I worked a campaign with the for Kinky Boots, we looked 6 months into the future, right? What movies were coming out 6 months? What TV shows were coming out 6 months? We had to guess trends 6 months ahead of the movie release. Like, we had to come up with all these contingency plans 6 months in advance, sometimes a year in advance. What holidays are coming up around the movie release date? So, you guys make excellent points. Excellent points. Sinners, Terminator, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Martyrs. What's the difference? I think the difference is Sinners instantly gives you a religious connotation. Okay? Sinners is never mentioned without Christianity being attached to it. We don't talk about sin or sinning or sinners without bringing in Christianity. I mean, you think sinners, sin, the word sin, you think the Bible off top. You think Jesus, sin, heaven, hell, like instantaneous without even, so, and on Easter weekend, yeah, that might be a part of it. Okay, I took the performance of Sammy's love interest being a bit long as highlighting she's an adulteress that Sammy succumbed to more weight. And back then, man, the adultery was a big deal in the 30s, Like adultery was a very, very big deal. Like, black adults even back then were like, hold up. You cheat on your husband, you cheat on your wife. Like, hold up, y'all doing too much. So even back then, the shame of being caught as an adulteress, was very, very real. You didn't want that mark on you like that. You didn't want that mark on you like that. So, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if this had played a part on I don't know if the average Christian coming out of church on Easter is going to go see a movie called Sinners. Once again, I don't know if the average Christian, let's say the average urban Christian coming out of Easter service is going to go see a movie called Sinners. I don't know. I'm with you. Trying to tap into the spring equinox energy. That's why he released it this weekend. He should have changed the title though. I'm not disagreeing with you guys. I didn't even consider that at all. I did not consider that at all. These are very, very good points. Thank you guys for making these points. It didn't cross my mind, y'all, this Easter weekend, because I don't celebrate this shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, right? And I didn't think like, yo, you put out a movie called Sinner. But that's where your marketing team has to come in and say, hey, this may not work, or this may work against you. We're trying to maximize our opportunities here, But once again, this goes to my theory that I don't think Warner Brothers wanted this movie to succeed on that level. Stranger things have happened. So I'm gonna get out of here. I've been on here for 2.5 hours running my mouth. So that's my breakdown, assessment, review of just not only Sinners, but Ryan Coogler, his trajectory. Like I said, brilliant young man. Is he 38? I didn't know he's 38. I thought he was younger, but brilliant young man. But when he's in his 40s, I don't want to hear, the machine. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear you machine. No, sir. We are in our 40s. We don't say the machine. No, we do not. We don't say you feel me. There's certain content creators that are my age still talking about you feel me or pause. Sirs, I'm not saying pause. I'm not saying you feel me. Okay? I'm just not. As an Orthodox Christian, I think the title is killing. It's definitely it definitely gets your attention. Yeah, Red, we good. Yes, sir. Red, we good. Yes, sir. Yeah, exactly. When I hear people say Paul, I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. Like, I refuse. Yeah, just let me know when you're ready, man. No problems. I still got time to go ahead and get to the gym and do all my stuff. So I got time. So I'm gonna get out of here. I thank all of you guys for rocking with me for 2.5 hours. If I miss anything in the movie, please let me know in the comments or hit me up and say, hey, you forgot this part. Now we'll go back and recap, or I'll go over it again. So, but I definitely an 8 out of 10 for this movie. Definitely lots of layers with this movie. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I would hope to see more of this universe that he has created. I hope he's allowed and afforded these opportunities to do so. I definitely want to post Stag vampire movie And I would like to see a Smoke and Stack limited streaming series on taking on the mob in Chicago. You know, I would love to see that. So fingers crossed, y'all. But I don't, let's, once again, this is where we're at. We'll come back next week to revisit these numbers. They are projecting a $45 million worldwide haul for this movie. This movie has to make $225 million worldwide. This is not good. So I implore you guys, you know, going back to the whole Wallow black business rant, this is the time we need to kind of come together and be like, hey, yeah, sometimes just on the strength of being black, yeah, sometimes. And this is, I think, one of those times where yeah, we just need to go ahead and just go just because he's black. Yeah, that's how I look at it. Because it's superior product to me. You know, what he put out is superior product. Clearly, hands down. So, with that being said, I'm getting long-winded. So I thank y'all for coming through. Later on tonight, me and Red will go at it. And then tomorrow we will go over all the urban stuff that I've been sitting on for the last week. So with that being said, I bid y'all adieu. Y'all have a good one. Peace.